Hello and welcome back to The Abstract. Today we'll be explaining the action sci-fi film called Boss Level. A retired soldier is stuck in a time loop and is being hunted by several assassins. When he learns about the death of his wife, he tries to investigate and end the loop. We see a man with a machete approach our protagonist Roy Pulver, who is sleeping in bed with a woman. When attacked, he doesn't care and simply dodges and counters every one of the moves of his enemy, as if it was a complex dance routine. It's revealed that he's been in this fight over 130 times, because every time he dies, he wakes up again in his bed and relives the same day over and over again, so much so, that he can safely leave his apartment thanks to a perfectly timed truck with construction sand driving down his street. However, he reveals that it wasn't always like this, and we see him learning the timing of jumping from his apartment, failing multiple times. He steals someone's nice car and explains the next challenge, Esmeralda and Pam, who try to shoot Roy from their black van. But he has learned to outmaneuver them. But he realizes he's never made it this far before. Roy wakes up in his bed as always and repeats the day and explains the different people that are trying to hunt him down. He gives most of them only nicknames, as there isn't a lot of time for small talk when they are trying to kill him. There is Pam. And Guan Yin. He knows Guan Yin's name because she loves her catchphrase.
I am Guan Yin. And Guan Yin has done this.
There is Kaboom, who loves using explosives. There's boy number 2, who is someone who looks like Roy. The German twins, and there's also
I am Guan Yin.
Okay, enough of that. Roy previously tried to contact his wife, but gets in contact with her boss instead. We see the boss standing in a room with a giant futuristic machine in the background, and the boss explains that Roy's wife is dead, claiming that she died from an accident. Meanwhile, the German twins are preparing a rocket launcher. We now see Roy in his current attempt, being chased by Pam, and trying to figure out what to do at the point of the bus. And manages to outsmart Pam, and kills her. Roy goes to a bar and where he meets someone he knows named Jake. Roy then meets Dave, a security expert. Roy rants about how he knows everything that will happen at the bar, every word Dave will say. The same woman walking in, whom Jake has a crush on, she is also a master sword fighter. And one of the waiters falling down from a spilled drink. Dave leaves and Roy drinks until 12:47 p.m. Roy gets extremely drunk for this time because he knows he can't get any further, explaining that this is the furthest he's ever made it, and he's never been able to get past this point. Roy explains that he can't keep getting drunk every day and that he needs a plan. Yesterday to him was months ago. We flash back to the day before getting stuck in the time loop. Roy meets with his girlfriend Gemma, but it turns out that their relationship is not doing so well. Roy loves her, but it is revealed that when they had a son, Joe, Roy chose to continue working in the military and was away for most of his son's life, and they share some small talk as she takes measurements of Roy. Roy asks her to tell their son that he is the boy's father, but Gemma doesn't want to, because Roy hasn't been in their lives for such a long time. But Roy tells Gemma that he understands that he ruined his relationship with her, but begs her to not let be in Joe's life because he doesn't want to make the same mistake and lose his son. A security guard is sent by the boss to check on Roy in the lab, and Roy responds that he's applying for a job. He's told they aren't hiring, and when the guard leaves, Gemma gets worried and pulls Roy to the side to explain to him that he's already hired and his job is going to start sooner than he thinks. She takes some of his hair and asks if he received the gift she sent him. Roy is confused but lets her continue talking. The boss calls her into his office, and with no time left, she whispers in his ear, "Remember this, Osiris." Roy doesn't fully grasp the importance of the situation and goes to a bar to get drunk, meeting a girl named Alice, the same girl who wakes up in Roy's bed every day. The bartender talks to them and makes Roy seem very interesting to Alice. Roy mentions that Alice is a dentist, and when Alice leaves for a bit, the bartender tells Roy he should take her home for the night, but Roy is unsure and flirts with the bartender, but she responds saying that she would never get with him. Not because she doesn't like him, but because she knows he's still really in love with Gemma and she doesn't want him to give up. Roy agrees with her and then receives a call from a concerned Gemma. She explains she desperately needs his help, but the connection is jammed by the boss, and Gemma rushes away with some tool and that sample of Roy's hair from earlier. The boss tells his guard to find her. Meanwhile, Alice then comes back and is very upfront that she wants to continue the night at his place. And then the time loop starts. Back in the current loop, Roy remembers her talking about the birthday present and finds it. It's a book, and he begins to try and read through it. However, with how chaotic his life is, it is difficult to dodge bullets and drive a car while reading. After a few failed attempts, he manages to lose Pam in their car chase, but he makes a wrong turn and ends up going to an arcade to try and read for a bit. After some reading, he's even more confused, and he ends up seeing his son Joe at the arcade. Roy approaches Joe. Joe, not knowing Roy is his father, only refers to him by his name. Roy offers to take Joe for lunch and asks what he bought from that other teen boy upstairs, to which Joe reveals trading cards used for playing a card game. Roy is relieved that it isn't drugs. Outside, Roy wants to tell Joe the truth about his mother's death but sees a clock that says it's 12:50. He's lived 3 minutes longer than he ever has before, and then notices all the assassins approaching him. Then he has the realization that when he was in the arcade it was underground and they didn't find him, so they must be tracking him. He grabs Joe to protect him for the bullets and tells him that he's his father. At that moment, Roy sees the love in his son's eyes amongst the fear, and he describes it as beautiful. He hopes that will be his final death. Now enraged further, he beats the first assassin that he wakes up to, and he makes his way to the bar and questions Dave about where he'd put a tracking device on a person. Dave says in a tooth. Roy asks Jake for a bottle of booze and pliers. Eventually, Roy finds the tooth and breaks it open, revealing the tracker. Dave says that the tracking in his tooth is extremely expensive. An assassin then bursts through the door and Roy says he'll see Dave soon. Roy now goes to the bar to remove his tracker and uses this as a way to trick the assassins. The first assassin he tricks is Pam, whom he finds out has been killing him with the gun of Adolf Hitler. This disgusts Roy and he shoots her with it for revenge. Roy rounds up all the assassins and takes them out Michael Bay style. Brett, the security guard from the lab, calls kaboom, and is shocked to hear Roy answer. Roy tells Brett that he killed every assassin, but he's missing 2 more people, Brett and the boss. Roy tries to infiltrate the facility multiple times, failing, but says that he can do this all day. Eventually, he gets in by only taking out Boy 2, who is an assassin that has a very big resemblance to Roy. And he manages to sneak in. He gets caught, but Roy has the last laugh as he shoots himself to just restart and try again. Once he finally makes it in, he must face Guan Yin, who he just can't seem to beat. Failing over and over, eventually he gets injured and the boss comes out to have a word with him. He's never lived past this part and he's the boss's speech. He learns that he's stuck in the Osiris and goes back to reading that book. The book tells the story of a woman who brought her husband back from the dead. And now he starts to understand the highlighted parts of the book. Now that he realizes Gemma did this to him, believing that he'll stop the boss from his evil plans, he goes to the master sword fighter in the bar to learn. She says she'll help but only has 1 day to teach him, but he says that 1 day is all the time they need. After 50 attempts, Roy becomes a master with a sword, and at attempt 200 he is now ready to once again fight Guan Yin. Roy finally gets his revenge by using her catchphrase after stabbing her.
Say what? I am Roy, and Roy has done this.
Roy quickly takes out Brett and finally wins, being one-on-one with the boss. The boss reveals that if he's in the loop for too long, the world will end and eventually everything will be destroyed, and also that while Roy has been breaking in every day, his son Joe has been killed. This causes Roy to become extremely depressed as he realizes that even if he breaks in and stops the Osiris, his son Joe will be dead. However, Roy realizes that he can't just do nothing and decides to spend the day with his son, and as he goes through more loops, the world becomes more unstable every day. Eventually the days will end with the world exploding. Roy ends every day happy and accepts the fate of the world, but then Roy has a new conversation with Joe that reveals Gemma to be alive. This gives Roy a whole new motivation. Roy quickly learns through security footage at the facility that she is alive at least 14 minutes after he wakes up. And he swears to the boss that he will stop him and save his family. Roy jumps to the helicopter and hijacks it. He gets to the facility so early he is able to eliminate all the assassins with the minigun he detached from the helicopter. He fights his way to Gemma and saves her. Roy reveals to Gemma that he's spoken to their son a lot and that he's changed so much in his time in the loop. Gemma tells Roy the only way to end the loop and make everything normal is for Roy to step into the Osiris. They kiss and say they love each other, and Roy walks in, finally bringing an end to the loop. Thank you for watching Movie Abstract. We hope we have helped you experience this if you could not before. If you made it this far, please subscribe, leave a like, and hit that bell icon. It would help us a lot. See you in another video and take care.